Hey, how you guys doing? This is Producer from Brothers Comments. Welcome to the Who Day Over 40 podcast for long time, long suffering Cincinnati Bengals fans. Who Day, everybody. Hey, man, we're 2-1. The short turnaround week after the victory over the hated Steelers. And it's at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to do this. It's Who Day Over 40 versus Thursday Night Football Eve as we kind of preview the game tomorrow night, talk about why we didn't wind up making it to the game, even though we talked about possibly going up for the game, and all that good stuff, and obviously ending in predictions for tomorrow night. On the line tonight is Big Hutch. Big Hutch, say what's happening.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, man. Shouts out, Sandman. We know you listening. We know you're out there, man. We love you, brother. Get well real soon so we can get you back on the pod. Um, So just before we get started, Hutch, how you feeling ahead of this game? I got all kinds of stats that will make you your knees quiver or your liver quiver and your knees do all these things that Cornette would say. How you feeling ahead of this game tomorrow night?
Actually, this is the one game I really think we're gonna put foot in ass and a pen attempt.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see I have Admiral Akbar up there in my screen name. It's a trap. This feels like a full-on trap game for the Bengals. Clearly the more talented team, the one with the most momentum, all of those types of things. But I got some stats that will, again, make your knees quiver and all of those types of things. So the Bengals, 7-5 total against the Jaguars um, at home. 7-5 total against the Jags at home. With a win last year, if you remember, Joe Mixon went nuts. I think he had like 125 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. He just went nuts.
He
So
he
that was,
ran and passed, right? Wasn't there?
yeah, I think he had 3 total touchdowns and two
Yeah.
rushing and one receiving. Joe Burrow threw for 300 yards. I mean, it was, the score wasn't as close as it actually indicated. I don't remember what the 33-25,
Right.
but it wasn't really that close. Like the Bengals were down early, but they pretty much could score at will. So we definitely like to see that. So that's fine. Bengal Jim tweeted this out, and shouts out to Bengal Jim too. He tweeted this out, about the record about the Bengals against the Jags at home. Um, Man, a lot of them wins had to be more recent because when they were in the AFC Central, they used to put foot in ass and a penalty in the Cincinnati Bengals when they had Mark Brunell, etc.
Yeah. We talked about that during when we were doing all the losing games that we were doing earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they used to get our ass, and you kind of forget that. But
Yeah,
yeah, they were good there for a minute,
yeah,
and we were not.
they came in as an expansion team and were bad for like a half an hour.
Right.
And after that, like, what was that? Who was the coach back then? The dude who coached the Giants
Uh,
to the
uh,
Super Bowl. Oh golly, what was that dude's name?
uh,
Coughlin. Tom Coughlin.
yeah,
Yeah,
that dude.
yeah, it was Tom Coughlin. He came in and he turned. I mean, they were in the AFC Championship game, I think, within two
Two
years.
years, yeah.
So I mean, it's that. Yeah,
And,
hell of a
and the
coach.
Panthers were too.
Yeah,
Amazing.
hell of a coach, and really just I mean, the Bengals were just terrible at that time, and whatever. So yeah, big win last week. So that's stat number one. Stat number two: the Bengals are 8-7 all time on Thursday night primetime football.
And
If you're
that's
on the
surprising stat too. I thought we were losing earlier.
Well, if you're on the YouTube channel, you can see Hutch's screen. Under Andy Dalton, the record speaks for itself. There was primetime Andy, and then there was 1 o'clock Andy. Andy Dalton's butt cheeks got super tight once the sun went down. Man, he just did not perform his best. I don't think anybody would dispute that. They might tell you as a coincidence. That's not a coincidence.
That's a
That's
lot.
that he just couldn't win at night. Like it just at the moment got to him. The bigger the lights, the more he shrunk under the pressure. So
And
the
the
Bengals are
Bengals
eight and
with
seven.
him.
Yeah, the Bengals are 8-7. Lost last year's Thursday night game as well to the Cleveland Browns. I believe it was 36-30. A game that the score was not as close as it indicated either. Burrow threw for a lot of yards. He had like 37 completions, which I think was a rookie record, but the game really wasn't that close. So yeah. So that's that. And then here's the one that'll really you up. The Bengals have lost 7 straight games to rookie quarterbacks. Amazing statistic that we saw this morning, starting with Mitch Trubisky back in 2017. A couple of Baker Mayfield losses in there, some Lamar Jackson. Golly, who was the other one? Kyler Murray. Just 7 straight losses to rookie quarterbacks. And this is something that we joke about all the time in our text chain. Like, oh, it's a rookie quarterback, Bengals are going to lose. Is why we were like, oh, shit, and we don't want to see Justin Fields because the Bengals are going to lose. There's data to back that up, Hutch, and that's really scary headed in tomorrow night.
That's awful. I think we're a 7-point favorite, 7.5.
Yeah.
Yes, but that number about the rookie quarterback, I will always go back. I always think about the Magic Man from Green Bay who just walked into place and fucking lit us up. And that he's supposed to be the next coming of something, and he came and left.
Yeah, he was.
I think we gave Brett Favre his shine too, didn't we?
We knocked down the Magic Man out of a game, and Favre came off the bench and brought him back from a significant number of points down to win the game. I believe that was also in Cincinnati as well.
Right.
So yeah, this is who day over 40, y'all. Again, we got all the stripes.
We were there. We were there.
Yeah, we remember, and the North remembers as well. So we get the rookie quarterback with sunshine tonight or tomorrow night, and let's get into the injury bug. On the short week, the Steeler game, always physical. People are trying to hurt each other, on both sides too. The Bengals really just kind of finally matched up the physicality, probably, which is why they were able to, kind of sustain that game in the lead. So for the Bengals, and we'll talk about the Jags a little bit with their injuries, there's massive key injuries here, and then piling up really from game one. So the first one up, T. Higgins, we're going to miss his second game with a sore shoulder. Wide receiver, I would really call him wide receiver 1 right now. I know.
I would too. I think he is the most dangerous receiver we got.
Yeah, I know.
The overall package of speed, quicks, ability to catch.
Yeah, he's got it all. And, Jamar's out to show and prove for sure. But like T. Higgins is, the second-year person. He allegedly came into camp, great shape. Everything was working out, and now we're two games down. And we know that this is a reason. This is probably because of the short week. And if they were playing a better team, probably not on a Thursday night, he'd probably go. But they're really trying to get into the mini bye and give him these 11 days off, or really more than that, to get him right for when they play Green Bay in essentially 2 weeks. Also out is Cheeto Awuzie, who had been absolutely balling, the number 1 ranked quarterback on completion percentage against, only at 35% in the NFL. Just absolutely balling, showing and doing it at a third of the price of William Jackson III, and doing it much better.
Yeah, Washington would definitely like to
get that money back.
like the Indian gives,
Yeah, they like to get that money back. But Cheeto's going to be out as well with a groin. Again, it probably feels like let's see if we can get through this Jacksonville game and skate you through for 11 plus days, so that you'll be right to be going up against Brett Favre. Wow, Aaron Rodgers.
Sorry.
And then also, which is probably the biggest hit, is Jesse Bates, freaking all-pro safety, missing his first game as a Bengal. Had 51 straight games, which was one short of the record, by the way. 52 is
damn, that sucks.
And he's not out. He's out with a neck. Not sure how severe that is or whatever, but again, probably if this was a playoff game, they'd probably all be playing or trying to play, and they're really just trying to get the rest in. So we got a starting corner, starting wide receiver, and starting safety out. And then we're really only getting back Trey Waynes, who's going to play his first game at cornerback as a Cincinnati Bengal after missing his first 19 with injuries.
Yeah, that's not a great exchange, really. We are missing some key people in key positions. I would like to have our starting safeties and all our starting cornerbacks playing in this game. That would really, really make me more positive of the outcome of us kicking their ass by 12, 13, 14 points.
Yeah, I think the Bates one hurts probably the most. I mean, Cheaty hurts too, but that Bates one really hurts because he cleans up a lot of the messes that them dudes do. And now we're starting cornerbacks are Eli Apple and Trey Waynes, who haven't played in 18 plus months. That's a little bit scary. You know, the Jags do have a couple of really good wide receivers. Right now, the reason that they're not doing well is that their quarterback isn't any good. And we'll talk about Sunshine here momentarily, but like it to me makes this kind of a trap game. Like you're just there's those forces that are coming together to like kind of make it just a weird looking game. And we'll talk about keys to the game here coming up. But yeah, I'm not liking the look of that at all. But you know, are you excited to see Trey Waynes? I mean, we saw him in Tampa. He looked really good on the, you know, drive and a half that he had played there. Like, oh, okay, that's fine. They look good. You know, they said he looked good all throughout camp. He just wound up getting hurt there near the end. So
I hope that I hope that he comes back and he just balls out, and that will definitely help our defense. The defensive line is getting the pressure that we sorely missed the last couple of years, and they're hitting the quarterback or they're getting to the quarterback, making him throw the ball early. Right. That's what we want. That's what we need. Mm-hmm. And maybe we could jump on some of them short routes or make Sunshine throw the ball quicker. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you know, you have the tied for the leader in interceptions and Logan Wilson at linebacker. You know, you really kind of hope that it feels like now that Lou Anarumo has been in the system for 3 years, he got the players that he wanted, like he's able to scheme up against players, you know, like, I mean, again, yes, Andy Dalton and freaking Justin Fields didn't do shit and the Bengals should have won. And everything got all goofy. Kirk Cousins, you know, he had an okay game against them. And then you see how he balled out against the Seahawks the other day.
Who doesn't ball out against the Seahawks, though?
But they at least balled out against them and they were able to do something. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not altogether, like, kind of worried about that. But, like, again, 0-7 against rookie quarterbacks. Again, that's more trend, not coincidence. So, anyway. All right, so let's get into some of the keys of the game. Oh, by the way, the Jags they're going to be missing their starting defensive tackle and I guess their starting kicker, who really hadn't done that well anyway. I think he was 0 for 3 on field goals and 3 for 5 on extra points. So I definitely think it was time for him to maybe, you know.
It's time, right? It's time to pull out them hush puppies.
Yeah,
and start selling life insurance.
Yeah, I think it was time for him to go anyway, but man, that's not very good for your starting kicker. But yeah, they're out there, a defensive tackle and their kicker for sure. Everybody else looks like they're good to go, relatively healthy. All right. So the keys of the game, you know, I got like 4 keys to the game. I'm gonna give one because I think it's relatable for the both of us about what we know. Key number 1 for me, this is a whole ass revenge game for freaking Joe Burrow. He was like, this mother blanker didn't play me, didn't put me out there, forced me to freaking leave my home state to play. I had to do the whole thing. I had to leave and start my whole career someplace else.
Restart my career.
Yeah, I think this is a whole ass revenge game for him to stick it to Urban Meyer.
It is. This is the real deal. Steve Austin, fucking Vince McMahon. I hate my boss, or fuck you, ex-boss. Yeah. This is real.
Yeah, this is real.
Like, real.
I mean, yeah, this is not like, I'm sure he's gonna say all the right things and all that kind of stuff. I saw the article what Urban Meyer called Joe Burrow. Was like, hey, you know, asking for advice or what he could help to, you know, handle. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure he was like, yeah, okay, coach, blah, 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 blah. Man, remember when you didn't play me at all?
And call me everything in the book.
Yeah, remember all that to force me to change my whole last career? Pat, thanks, appreciate you. So yeah, that's my first key to the game. My next one is, as always, you Bengals got to shut down the run. I know you're pulling up stats here. The Bengals defense, I think, is really essentially proven 3 games could be a trend. You can't, I mean, you really run the ball. Again, they got yards in Chicago, they got yards in Pittsburgh as well, but they didn't get yards. This is not this thing where the team is giving up 130 yards a game and the last in the league. The running backs aren't getting yards. From Dalvin Cook to Najee Harris last week. I mean, people aren't getting yards. So the Bears running back, who I can't remember, like they're not getting yards. So
they're right. Our Bengals are giving up 78.3 yards a game in 3 games.
When this ever happen in our lives of who they over 40?
I can't think of. They were really, really good in like 2013 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, I think they were like ranked 6th or 7th in the league at the end as far as total defense. But 78 yards a game. A game where we were giving up 78 yards a half there for a while.
A quarter. Yeah, it's not very good. But shut down the run and then make Sunshine beat you. I mean, that's pretty much it. If they can't run the ball, that means that he's going to have to throw. If they're down early, and that's one of my other keys here, is score early and often. And then put it into a passing game completely at that point. And then that turns the pass rushers loose. Definitely a weaker offensive line that the Jaguars have. And, you're putting him in situations where he's going to be forced to throw it in a lot, which means he's going to make mistakes. He's already got 7 interceptions through 3 games. He threw 3 in the opener and 2 in the last 2 games. So he's going to give it up, like, for sure. That's just a given at this point in time because that's who he is. But, he's also the number 1 pick. He's also, they say he's sneaky athletic because he's white. And, we're not going to be, he ain't going to be running like that in this league. And, I just make him throw the ball and beat you. And again,
and he ain't beat nobody yet. So, right. Do what you keep doing it.
Yeah, he's gonna find Eli Apple though, and he's gonna find freaking Darius Phillips. Those dudes are going to be out there, and he got Marvin Jones and what's that? DJ Chalker or was the other wide receiver there?
Luke, what's his name?
They have another wide receiver that's really good, but that's not
DJ Chark Jr.
Yeah, that's not Marvin Jones Jr. And old friend Marvin Jones, I'm sure he'd like to come back to Cincinnati, even though he's twice removed from leaving the Bengals at this point, to do whatever in Cincinnati too. But it's just score early, score often, force them to throw the ball, and unleash the pass rushers onto that kid, and kind of trick them into something.
All right. Or make Urban Meyer grab for his head because his sciatica is messing with him.
Next key I had. We get some early Joe Mixon, early and often as well. Establish the running game, and get them, again, man, that running the football on people when you can't stop it, it just demoralizes defenses. So if you can go out there and run the ball like you did last year, it takes off time of clock, keeps your quarterback clean. Joe Burrow threw it 18 times last week against the Steelers. That's it. That's insane. 18 times. Please remember.
And completed 15.
Yeah, and
last year, the interception.
And last year on Thursday Night Football, remember he threw the ball 61 times. So they're really trying to keep him from out of harm's way, and having a solid running game. Now where is he ranked in the league now? In terms of yards per game or yards total, because he was leading the league after the first 2 weeks, and I think he had 90 yards last week, but 5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. So, he's doing really well. I think that's what we were actually looking for from Joe Mixon based on the money that he earned last year.
Right. So he's second in attempts and second in yards.
Yeah.
And rushing, yeah.
So we'd like to see that happen. And I think that will help him for sure. And then get the crowd into it, man. First Thursday night football game where the Bengals are actually
favorite to win. Everything is favored for the Bengals to do this. Yeah. I haven't got the call yet, but I know it's coming from the Cincinnati ticket people talking about, hey, buy some tickets. Yeah. And I know that the Brown to build a new stadium group is getting their shit together right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's this is the first time that they've had a team that could be successful that is in a game in call it 5 years. I would say, yeah, call it 5 years post fumble. This is this is the first time that it's like, hey man, this team could actually be good. So the people in Cincinnati are going to be fired up. We bantered the idea of heading up there to Cincinnati for this game. It just wasn't going to work out time wise or whatever. But we probably should have gone. As I look at the schedule ahead of time now, I was like, man, if it wasn't this game, it might not be any to get to Cincinnati this year to watch the Bengals. So yeah, get the crowd in the game. Again, that they're all going to be fired up. It's damn near Oktoberfest up there, so everybody's going to be pretty hammered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's on. It really is. So if you get the crowd into it, get a strip sack, get a big interception, get a long touchdown, something to that effect, we're good to go. Now you notice I do not have Jamar Chase on here as one of my keys to victory. Why would you think I would not have that on here?
That's a great question. Why wouldn't you have Jamar Chase on there?
I think he's going to finally start to see coverage at this point now that T. Higgins isn't there. He's going to see somebody over the top.
It's
he is inevitable.
He has. I think he has earned that this thing. Yes, he will get that extra a safety or a underneath lineman or something. He will draw that extra player toward him, which works for me. So throw it to Mixon where that linebacker ain't.
Yeah, or Tyler Boyd.
Or Tyler Boyd, right.
In the middle. Yep. I mean, it just sucks that we don't have a
decent tight end.
Yeah, that could catch the ball, but this is where that is at this point. You're going to have to roll coverage to him. He's averaging 20 yards a catch. Like, you really better roll coverage to him or he's going to blow past you and he's going to catch long touchdowns. Like, that's just how it's going to go. You might be able to get him loose on some, on some play action if you're able to get Joe Mixon loose. But I don't think he's going to be the key to the game. Again, I think this would have been a big game for T. Higgins to eat had he played. So now that he's not there, it's probably a big game for Tyler Boyd-ish. If
Auden
Tate, I mean, he's good too. I think he had one reception against the Steelers or whatever. He should have had another one. I think he got called back on the penalty near the half. But
the strongest unit the Bengals have is the wide receivers, I think. But that defensive line, though, is starting to look good too.
That defensive line looks, I can't use the word that rhymes with great, but they look great. And then look at the defensive rankings. We talked about this, in our text chain, total defense for the Bengals, 8th. What? 8th. I think it was one year under Zimmer that they finished 6th in one of the 5 playoff year runs.
Right.
6th, but I'll take 8 for sure.
I'll take 8, especially against the Jaguars.
For sure. And then the defense, and that's the funny thing. The offense hasn't really done much. They're only ranked 28th in total offense, and 28th in scoring, or 17 in scoring or something like that. I mean, they haven't done anything with the offensive weapons that they had.
Right.
So,
but hey, if you can win, without, if you can score, I mean, if you win, is winning. If you can win 17-14, go for it. Right. If you can win 35-34, go for it. Just win. But yes, it is nice to have 11 dudes when you're not on offense that kind of know what the hell they're doing, and you don't have to score 35 points a game.
Yeah, and what do you think the number is? Like, man, if the Bengals offense scores this, the way their defense is playing, it's a wrap.
I hear Kiefer Sutherland, 24.
That was exactly my number too. I was like, if the Bengals offense scores 24, they can pretty much, the way the defense is playing, pretty much win almost every game. Not almost every game, but if they can score 24, they're going to be in every game. Defense travels. Like, that's the thing. Like, we haven't really had that. Even when they were good, it seemed like on the road, they weren't nearly as good. Now, again, they played the Bears and then they played the Steelers, who were obviously limping themselves. But let's see if this continues and they can travel with this, with this defense, because if they can, they're going to be in every game. because the offense is eventually going to score. You're not going to stop them. They're going to eventually score. So, yeah, I would say if you get to 24, you're going to be good to go. All right. Let's get to predictions, y'all. Again, I got it as a trap, like a pure ass trap game, like it really is. Because of the injuries, if we were relatively healthy with corners and all that kind of stuff, I have two different predictions. Okay. Bengals are clearly more talented, but it's at home. It's Thursday night. It's going to be a lot of drunkards in Kentucky. My initial prediction is a 28-13 route-ish type of game, where they get up early and then they just coast it to the end. But if there's some sort of turnover, shenanigans, rookie quarterback, whatever, then we're looking at another nail biter who, and honestly, my freaking blood pressure can't take another one. We're looking at a nail biter, which I still would have them winning, but probably 20-17. What you got?
I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think the Bengals crack 30.
Okay, for the first time this season.
Yeah, the Bengals go for 30. I say it's 30 to, let's say 30-17 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I cannot see the Jags scoring more than 20 points. Like, I think that's probably the capper, barring, again, anything stupid, a pick six or some dumb shit like that. Because, I mean, the Bengals defense, that stupid touchdown counts against the scoring offense, even though the Bengals gave it up against the Bears. I mean, the Bears, really only scored, 13 points?
Right.
Offensively, they scored 13 points.
And they shouldn't have got that.
10 of them came from directly from his interceptions.
Right. So,
I mean, they didn't do well at all. Again, the Vikings scored because they were able to get loose, late in the game. And then
fourth and one, and you blew it on the 30-yard line.
And then the Steelers didn't do anything.
Right. So, but look at his completion percentage.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include 4 interceptions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's accurate.
Right.
He now has the long ball as a weapon for him.
It can't, and right. And 3 teams seen it very well, and they couldn't stop it.
Right. Yeah.
And 2 of them knew it was coming.
Yeah. Well, for sure, like I said, that's why I don't have Jamar as a key to victory here, because I just imagine he is going to see all kinds of freaking over-the-top coverage so he doesn't get loose. But, he's got to take, they're going to take their shots too. I think they've decided this year that they're going to go for it. Zach Taylor is managing and coaching games like they're going to go for it, not just on 4th down, but, in certain situations. But also, one of my notes that here before too said, if they come into this thing right of Reagan again on the play calling, like it gets to be an issue too. Like, oh, we ran the ball on 1st down, and then let's run it again on 2nd down. They don't throw it on 2nd down. They're just, kind of predictable. And then when they get down, or it's like it's not working, they're like, oh, you know what? Here we go, 5 wide. Where he's, more successful, more comfortable. And, and then they start to, be able to move the ball up and down the field. So we'll see how it goes. The offensive line did well last week. Jackson Carman gets his 2nd start at right guard as well. They kept him relatively clean, and let's see what happens from there, And then it'll be interesting after this week because, Ricardo Allen will come off the IR. Khalid Kareem comes off the IR. There's going to be some, roster decisions that are going to have to be made for some people that are wind up going up or going back down to the practice squad. So pretty exciting time. But yeah.
And are we going to go around the league?
Yeah, we can swing it around the AFC North. The Steelers are terrible. Next question. Yeah, they're bad. And actually, my note on here says, why were you so upset that Tyler Boyd spoke truth to power about the Steelers?
Because when you say shit like that, and we hate each other. These teams hate each other. Mm-hmm. And when you say shit like that this mother blanker,
Omar Epps,
right?
Watching on YouTube,
right? That mother blanker, like I said, they already play dirty. When we see them again in what, week 7 or 8?
No, it's later than that. It's well into November. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's way down there, isn't it?
Where the hell? Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Good, we don't have to play them again.
Oh, that's the schedule. Yeah,
that's their schedule. Yeah,
right. So November 28th, right after Thanksgiving. So yeah, they'll be waiting for and whatsoever's left of them.
Whatever's left. Yeah, the quarterback seems shot completely. I mean, whatever.
And they played Green Bay. That's wonderful.
Green Bay.
Yeah. Right. That's wonderful because whatever they can do to them,
yeah,
we'll see Green Bay next week. But Green Bay's gonna kill them.
Well, and they got Denver the following week, who's 3-0. I mean, if you're a believer or not, and Seattle's always a tough out because of Russ. So, yeah, okay. So let's go to Baltimore, who were life and death with the Lions last week. Right. Needed a 66-yard field goal that bounced.
They stole a 4th and 19 that they shouldn't have got either.
Yeah, but the Lions are the Bengals. But yeah, I mean, but a 66-yard field goal that hits off the crossbar and bounces over. You live in a charmed life.
Well, considering all the bad luck they had to start the season with, you needed that to get past the Lions. You're not that charmed. But this news.
Well, they're 2-1, and they could easily be 0-3.
They should be.
Yeah. He's got a back injury. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I keep telling my son this. I keep telling people that argue with me all the time. A running quarterback is not going to win that friggin' Super Bowl. It's not a trend anymore, or it's not a fad. It's a trend. Every single one of them that's gotten there, that's been a true running quarterback. I'm not talking about Elway who scrambled or Roethlisberger or anything like those dudes that like to run like that. They don't get the Super Bowls, and if they do, they don't win. Like you gotta be able to eventually stand in that pocket and make 3 reads, because eventually they will catch you because you're going to get slower, and they don't.
They seem to get faster. They take a better angle.
They're going to get you eventually, man. They do. They always do. They always do. And then this is where this stuff starts happening. Back, hamstrings, whatever. I've seen him take some hellacious hits. And I understand why Justin Fields, doesn't want to run, because he's going to get labeled as a running quarterback. And then again, he's going to start to get blowed up. And he's a big dude. So,
he's already been blowed up.
He's already been blown up. Right. So, yeah. I mean,
Baltimore plays at Denver this week.
Is that what it is? Who's their backup quarterback? Is RG3 still there? Or
he's broadcasting, ain't he?
I don't even know. Who is their backup quarterback? I don't even know.
Tyler Huntley? Or Trace McSorley?
Ooh, I got a McSwirly. Nice. Yeah, I don't even know who that is. So.
He played for Penn State, and that's all you need to know.
Tells you everything. All right. So so that's not good. And then the other team up north, they're 2-1. That's like the Bengals. They destroyed Chicago in Cleveland last week, and rightfully so. Our hero Justin Fields looked like he should not even play football. Defense, 9 sacks, 4.5 by freaking Miles Garrett. I mean, just a shellacking. But again, it's hard to say. I mean, we know Chicago's not very good, even though we lost to them. We shouldn't have. Had that game been in Cincinnati, I'm pretty sure it would have been something similar to that as well. And they should have beat the Chiefs week 1. Should have. They, and then they won the last 2. Again, it's against
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, and then who'd they beat the week 2?
That wasn't the Lions. Who was it?
It was somebody bad.
Houston. And
actually,
Houston was hanging in there till old boy got hurt.
Yeah.
I thought Houston was going to be the worst team in the league, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's we against the world situation, so they might be playing against that. But look at their schedule is pretty tough here. The next 3 or 4 at Minnesota, at the Rams, Arizona at home, and Denver at home, and then Pittsburgh too, which is a rivalry game. Like, let's see where Cleveland is after these next 5 weeks. That ought to be
that schedule was brutal. Minnesota Minnesota's the easy game out of the next four.
Yeah, for sure. So you gotta be kind of curious as to what happens there with them. And again, always with the Browns, I know they've been a little bit better in the last couple of years. Always with the Browns, there's super egos floating on that team. And when people
Right.
don't get the press or whatever that they want, it becomes an issue.
And Baker Hollywood.
Yes, for sure.
His numbers. Well,
Yeah.
actually,
His completion percentage, he's only got 2 touchdowns. But again, they don't really do anything but run the ball. He's not the star, but he thinks he is. And they're going to pay him like the star because, again, my other trend, running quarterbacks don't win freaking Super Bowls. Once you pay your quarterback $50 million, hi, Kansas City. Once you pay your quarterback $50 million,
in Seattle,
it's damn impossible to put together a championship team. It is. Like, oh, well, Brady was never worried about being the highest paid quarterback. His wife's a damn billionaire. He didn't care about the money. And so they were able to build teams around him, plus Tom Brady, and he didn't need the money. So they were able to fill in those miscellaneous parts. Now, who's all gotten those huge deals, and what have they done? Russ, Lamar's about to get this $50 million deal.
Man.
I know, and freaking Sideshow Bob, what's his name? Patrick Mahomes just
got his.
Like, as soon as they get those.
And that Mr. Green Bay he got broke off too.
Yeah, the CM Punk now, because that's what he looks like.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's not good. Like, you just can't. That's why you got to win on them rookie quarterback contracts, man. If you don't win on them 5 years, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to continue.
So,
Dak got his money. They're 2-1. Maybe that'll be
but they whatever. But yeah, how about us? That means we got 3 years.
3 years left.
I don't think we got that, because if this year gets successful and whatever he has next year, hopefully that's successful too. They're gonna get him a year forward.
Oh yeah, it's better to pay him then. But then a lot of the Bengals do cap situations too, that they pay him really money. They don't just blow up numbers. So whatever. I mean, they made Carson Palmer the highest paid quarterback. His deals was $100 million or whatever at the time.
Damn.
Whatever that they paid him.
And that's only 2 years on some contract.
That's damn near a 2-year deal. So they'll pay for a quarterback, just not guards. All right.
Or tackles.
Well, I'm okay with tackles, just guards though.
Well, number 77 would say something. Well, whatever.
I know. Well, he was old, but maybe he wasn't that old. All right. So anyway, I still think it's a trap. A little concerned about it, but we'll find out. This time tomorrow, we'll have probably a pretty good idea of what's happening. So, hey man, you got some exit music?
I was gonna go The Big Payback by James Brown.
Big Payback, James Brown. Okay, you can't use
I was gonna use where you want to use that? What, you got to chill?
Is that the sample? I can't even remember. Was that the sample?
Well, The Big Payback. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, Revenge.
Yeah.
I like the big the Big Payback works.
All right, cool. All right. So if you're listening on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, wherever you found this podcast, James Brown's going to start to play you out. I am again the producer of this comic book. Wow, this podcast. Again, 3-1, y'all. That'll look so good going into this mini bye. Green Bay did look a lot better than I thought they were going to look last week against San Francisco, although they were life and death. But it's in Cincinnati. Hopefully, you have all your defensive parts back and your offensive parts, and so you'd be ready to go and maybe to be able to steal one there with another soft game on your schedule after that at the Lions. So, real possibility you could get to at a minimum freaking 4-2. So who day. Hodge, go ahead and sign off.
Good night to all you happy people. 24 hours away from, hopefully we're up by 10 at halftime at least.
Yeah, we'll be back for the aftermath, to recap the game. Maybe not freaking Thursday night. That shit ain't gonna go off till like 12 o'clock midnight.
Yeah, I set the things up for us to cast at midnight. I gotta go to work too.
I gotta get up and go to work.
I gotta get up and go to work too. I can't.
For Pete's sake. All right. We'll see everybody on the other side. Peace. Who they?
Who they?